Hello again, and welcome back to the Horror and Metal channel, home to the Hellhounds review show with me, Hellhound. I just reviewed Night of the Living Dead from 1968, directed by the legendary late horror master George A. Romero, who unfortunately passed away last month, or actually a couple months ago. This is now September, July. And so yeah, check out my review of Night of the Living Dead if you haven't already. And today, today's the same day, but I figured I'd go and review the sequel, Dawn of the Dead, as well, before the day's over. This movie came out 10 years after the original in 1978, and I think it wasn't even released until 1979. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Is that like not the best tagline ever? Yeah, Dawn of the Dead. Great sequel. It continues the story set up in Night of the Living Dead, like the zombie outbreak, the crumbling of society. Humanity hasn't been able to control the situation, and many more people are killed and reanimate into bloodthirsty, carnivorous zombies who, feast on human flesh and are just spreading across the world like a plague. And so people are forced to evacuate their homes. A SWAT team gathered together, led by Stephen, played by David M.G., and Peter, played by Ken Foree. Ken Foree is one of my favorite actors. He's in a lot of horror movies. He's just awesome. He's always fun to watch. He's a really badass hero, too. He was definitely my favorite character in this movie. And after a while, after battling zombies for a long time, but not really succeeding, they all hide out in a mall, killing all the revived dead people inside there, and hiding out for a while. But pretty soon they discover that they become slaves to consumerism and start kind of a hedonistic lifestyle. All the SWAT teams and all the fellow survivors, and they're hiding out from zombies. So it's pretty cool. I think this is a cool setting for a horror movie, a mall. The first one was in a house at night. This one's in a mall, mostly during the daytime. And it's filmed at the Monroeville Mall in Pennsylvania, which I've actually been to. It's pretty cool being at the mall where Dawn of the Dead was filmed at. This is pretty cool. That mall's most famous for being the setting for Dawn of the Dead, which I think is really awesome. Hell yeah. So yeah, this is... Many people consider this their favorite zombie movie, and I can definitely see why. It's definitely one of my favorites. My favorite movies are Return of the Living Dead, so I do prefer that one, but this would definitely be second favorite, and this is definitely in many ways the definitive zombie movie. It really, it accurately depicts, a society, a world, a post-apocalyptic world plagued by the undead, just taking over. It's very realistic. You really feel like zombies are spread all over the world and are eating people, and that it's just like a lost cause, and that, humanity's pretty much doomed by this living dead virus. So they really did a good job with that. Now, and yeah, Ken Foree is a great character. I love all the characters. I love the storyline, the settings, the locations. Very well done. It is like the quintessential zombie movie. I will say that the makeup for the zombies isn't all that great. I mean, Tom Savini, who also stars in this film, which I'll get to in a minute, he did all the makeup effects, and since the first movie was black and white, they wanted this movie to reflect that, the way the zombies looked. So they tried to give them all gray face paint, but it ended up looking really blue. So it was just very clearly a bunch of extras in makeup. And I think sometimes, you can catch someone in the background making faces or acting silly or something. And, but, I understand, the zombies don't look very realistic, but they're still intimidating. They're so scary. You really do believe that they're the living dead, despite the kind of limited makeup effects. They all just look like they have people with blue faces walking around chasing people. But I understand. They didn't have a very big budget, again, and also so many extras. It would have taken hours to really go all out with really elaborate makeup effects, making everybody look dead and decomposed. But I will say that Roger, the Roger zombie shown here on the VHS cover, his makeup effects look fantastic. He looks like a real zombie. They really put a lot into that. But they couldn't have done that for everybody. That would have taken forever, and I don't think they had the budget for it. I mean, that would cost a lot more money and time and effort. So yeah, while the zombies don't look all that great, as I said, you still feel like they're real zombies. They're still terrifying, and it's still, it's still believable. It doesn't take away from the movie at all. I still think it's a flawless masterpiece. It's a perfect zombie movie in every way. I love it to death. It's just a classic. It's excellent. Very well acted, very well written, very well directed, and yeah, as I said, I love the location, the setting. A mall is a great place for a horror movie, and even after the zombies have been a problem for a while, Ken Foray and the rest of the characters have to deal with a lethal, ruthless gang of bikers led by Tom Savini himself. He plays the biker leader, which is freaking awesome. And yeah, these people, these bikers are really mean and violent, and they want to take the mall for themselves. They want to they want to scope out the mall and get rid of all the other survivors that are hiding from zombies. So yeah, not only do our heroes have to deal with zombies, but also mean bikers. So yeah, what a great story. And then yeah, shocking ending as well, just like the Night of the Living Dead. Some great atmospheres, very, very realistic, very serious, very well done sets and locations. This movie just feels so real. It feels like a real zombie plague was captured like on a bunch of different cameras. It's just, it's just so believable. The whole scope and the reality and the feel of the whole thing. Now, as in my favorite zombie movie and probably my favorite movie of all time, along with Evil Dead 2, is Return of the Living Dead, and I just have so much fun with that movie. It's a blast. It's way more humorous, a little more lighthearted. It's more of a horror comedy, and it's just and the zombies look way better in that. The makeup effects are incredible. They look like real rotted, decomposed deceased people who came back from the dead. We even have skeletons. We have everything. The makeup effects are way better, but I still think that this movie is probably technically a little more well done. While I do prefer Return of the Living Dead personally, I still consider this the ideal zombie flick in many, many ways. It's definitely evidence that George A. Romero was a genius, and that he'll never be forgotten, and his legacy will live on. This is definitely the movie most people think of when they think of George A. Romero. It's really a close one for me. It's tough to pick between this one and Night of the Living Dead, as I said in my last video, because I love the locations of Night of the Living Dead as well. I also love the lead character, Ben, played by Dwayne Jones. I loved how it took place at night, and we saw graveyards and creepy old houses in the forest, and zombies emerging from the shadows. I think that was a little darker and creepier. I think this one feels like, as I said, this one feels like a more real and more like an actual infestation of zombies just taking over the world and doing as they please, and just like a disease spreading across the world. Like this movie feels like the end of the world. It feels like humanity's doomed. It feels like the apocalypse. This movie just does a great job depicting that. So very realistic and serious in a depiction of violence and a very, very bleak, very grim future for humanity. I mean, if this really happened, I think it would happen just like that. And hell, if there was an apocalypse and zombies all over the place, I'd probably go hide out in the mall too. I'd have everything there, as long as they have some kind of food store, some kind of grocery store in there or something. I think that a lot of things the characters do, a lot of decisions and moves that they make are very plausible as well. I mean, what would you do in that situation? I think that a lot of rules wouldn't apply anymore. Certain morals and things to abide by from proper civilization would have to kind of be broken, and you just really have to try to survive. It's survival, and I think this movie is very, very good at very essential at depicting that. It's very effective. I just can't praise this movie enough. It's a masterpiece. It's a classic. It's very well done. And I said the only complaint I really have is that the zombies don't look realistic, look like people with blue faces. But again, I understand exactly why. I think the zombies looked a lot better in the follow-up Day of the Dead, which is the third movie in the trilogy. This one came out in 1985, the same year as Return of the Living Dead, one of my favorite movies, as I said. And yeah, the zombies looked a lot better in this one, and I love the setting in the military bunker, and it had better gore, too. Better looking zombies and better gore, more explosions, more action, a little more entertaining, but I still think Dawn of the Dead was way better. It's way more effective, way more real, way more suspenseful, way more sophisticated. So I do prefer to Day of the Dead, despite the next one being slightly more amusing and having a bigger budget and better effects. But again, yeah, this is a very realistic portrayal of an on-screen zombie epidemic gone viral, gone worldwide. So yeah, you got to see this movie. But definitely check out Night of the Living Dead first, because this movie continues that story nicely. The first movie is just kind of like the beginning. It was like the outbreak. This is the middle. This is where things are really getting serious, and the zombies are becoming unstoppable, and they're just taking over. They're outnumbering the living. So there's only a few survivors left, and people don't know what to do. The human race is just struggling to survive, and this movie does great. And I love Ken Foray's character. Peter, great lead character, just like Ben from the first movie. Ken Frey's always been a favorite of mine. He's great in everything he's in. He can make anything good. And I also love Tom Savini's characters, the ruthless biker. I thought that was a really good addition. That was a pretty cool look, because if there was a zombie plague, going on, if there was like an apocalypse and people were being eaten by the undead and they were just taking over, there'd be a lot of bad guys too. There'd definitely be villains, people who are still alive who just want to take over the world, and they don't have to play by the rules anymore. There's not really the police and society, like the authority figures are kind of going down because of the the massive, rapid decay of civilization and pretty much the extinction of the human race, basically, is the living humans anyway. So yeah, I think a lot of this would really happen. And yeah, again, I have been to the Monroeville Mall in Pennsylvania. I recommend anybody should go there. It's pretty cool seeing where Dawn of the Dead's filmed. It's changed a lot. The mall's changed a whole lot. I always thought it was a very cool looking mall. I've always wanted to go there, and I'm glad I finally got to. Very, very cool looking mall. One of my favorite movie malls, for sure. There's a couple other movies and TV shows filmed there as well. So yeah, as I said, it's definitely a great setting for a movie, horror or otherwise. So yeah, check out Dawn of the Dead if you haven't already. I'm sure you have if you're watching this channel, I would hope. Came out in 1978, directed by the legendary George A. Romero, who, again, will be sorely missed, and I'll continue to pay homage to his genius as much as I can in my videos. No, they'll never do it justice. You just got to see his films to see what I mean. He was just an expert filmmaker. He was part of the Big Four, along with Tobe Hooper, Wes Craven, and John Carpenter. Sadly, three of them are no longer with us. Only Carpenter remains. So yeah, really sad when your heroes start to pass on. Alright guys, well, I think that about covers it. Long live George A. Romero and his legacy, and Dawn of the Dead is proof of what a skilled man he was. How talented he really, really was. So check it out, and feel free to let me know what you think of Dawn of the Dead, your personal experiences with it in the comments below. I think it's the ultimate zombie movie. What do you think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Please feel free to let me know, and let's continue to talk about some great films directed by one of the greatest horror heroes of all time, Mr. Romero. Rest in peace. Let's take a moment of silence in his memory real quick. Alright guys, I'm Hellhound, and until next time, I'll also be reviewing Day of the Dead eventually. I'll get to it. So I don't know if it'll be my next video, but I'll definitely be getting to it here soon. I think it's a pretty fitting end to the Dead trilogy. I know that he ended up continuing with Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead, all which were pretty good too, but I think the original trilogy was far superior in a lot of ways. But I love how the later ones continue the story. And so yeah, look out for this review coming soon, and until next time.